In the words of the late, great Freddie Mercury from the iconic rock band Queen, fat bottom girls, they make the rockin' world go round. Pretty sure he was talking about wide angle lenses.
You're a monster.
Hi, I'm Jared Hoyman, and welcome to the channel if it is your first time. And no, I am not a monster. But what did you think of that new intro? Did you like the song? By the way, if you're interested in songs like that, well, my friends over at audio.com, link below, is giving 70% off for the first year for royalty-free music. So if you have clients where you need to be putting some royalty-free music in there, it is a great site. I am enjoying it. Check it out and use the link below along with the code for 70% off. It's a good deal. So today, in a non-scientific way, I'm going to be going over the 7Artisan 9mm for a full frame. This is going to be on the R6 Mark II. I'm going to show you a couple images, nothing very scientific, just kind of showing you those images. I'm going to be showing you video shots out in my backyard. And I'm going to give you my final verdict on what I think about this. But first, this is not sponsored. They did not give this to me. I purchased it on my own. And yes, I'm going to be returning it, but I'm going to tell you why at the end of the video. The main reasons why I'm going to return it. It may not be the main reasons why you would want to return it. You may want it. You may want to keep it. And I think it is for certain people. For me, it's not, and I'm going to explain why. So before we go into my backyard, if you haven't already, please subscribe, like, and let's get back into the video. All right, so this is f5.6 aperture. And I have it set to affinity. So this is, just looking at the stats, 1/50th, it's 24 frames per second. And my ISO out here is 2000. We're approaching dusk. Now, the problem I have with this, and I assume I'm in focus because there is no autofocus with this. The problem I have is we have a beautiful warm day for Wisconsin in October. And it's actually raining. So we get a warm day, it's raining. This thing is not, it's not weather sealed. It is not weather sealed at all. I don't know why I'm walking around. This thing cannot track me, but everything, even at 5.6, should be pretty much in focus. So if I'm walking around here, I should still be pretty much in focus, and I can go really far wide out of the shot. Right now, here, I'm at arm's length right now. This is arm's length, kind of leaning in. That's how crazy this is. Again, 9mm, this is the widest on a full frame that's rectilinear. You've got straight lines, it's not fisheye, even though you look at the front of this lens and it is bubbled out. So is the Canon 10-20, which I don't have yet. That is bubbled out, and that does have autofocus. Not necessarily that you need autofocus because this is not going to be a vlogging lens. Even though the 10-20 you can zoom in and probably do some vlogging. This one at 9mm, you're just going to look like a GoPro subject. It's going to look a little odd. So I might be a little blurry where I'm at because, again, infinity. Let me walk over here. I'm avoiding dog poop. This is just, it's like playing Minesweeper. Do you guys remember Minesweeper? Is that still a game out there, or am I just really old? I'm probably looking like I am a mile away. I am not. I am probably about 15 feet from the tripod. That is not far at all. This is me just one-handed walking with the IBIS. So it's not great. It's pretty jittery. I'm very interested in what the 10-20mm is gonna be like on the RF, because they said that that wobble from the 15-35 and 14-35 is actually pretty decreased quite a bit. And now it is raining. I'm gonna go under this tree so it won't be that bad, but a fear is that this is not weather sealed at all. What's kind of funny is I keep thinking I'm out of the shot. I can barely get out of the shot. Now I look like I have a weird alien head, right? Is that how that works? Now it is kind of cool. It's like I'm in a tunnel, right? Like spinning around here, it's like tunnel vision. Now the pictures I have taken so far on some jobs, I did not use these pictures professionally because they did not look that great. Compared to Canon RF lenses, the glass is amazing on the Canon. And so you can tell definitely a difference in sharpness, contrast, the vignetting as well. There is quite a bit of vignetting on this lens. I believe the Canon RF version does have it, but since it does have an electronic connection to the camera, it has lens profiles that you can choose, and therefore it could fix it in camera for you and easier when you're doing post-production. Now, there is a little smudge of water. I'm not sure if that actually showed much of a smudge before. That'd be interesting if it did. A little bit of water on there might have made a difference. And when you're looking at maybe a 24 to 70, that range, it doesn't. But on this ultra wide, a little speck of water might look like a huge smudge on your lens. That'll be interesting to find out. Again, I'm looking down because there's a poop farm down there and I do not want to be part of it. This does seem to produce pretty decent colors with the Canon R6 Mark II. It is a neat lens, full-time professionally. I'm not sure if I would recommend this. Hobbyist, yes, I think you can get some really fun, cool shots with it at 9mm, and for the price, you really can't go wrong. I know it's not cheap still. It is under $500, but it is the widest out there. The Laowa is the same, 9mm, you can do that one. But yeah, but if you're looking for autofocus, you're looking for versatility and sharper images, then it's gonna be the Canon 10 to 20mm RF. If you don't need this wide, then the 14 to 35 f4, 99.9% of you, that would be the best lens. I use the 15 to 35. I do not ever shoot at f2.8 though. That's what my 24 to 70 is for. I'm always at f8 when I'm doing ultra wide, and therefore, if I had to do it all over again and the RF 14 to 35 was out, I would have done that right away instead of the 15 to 35. But now the 10 to 20 is coming out, and that appears to be the way to go. And now it's raining, so I'm actually gonna bring this inside because it is not weather sealed, and that's unfortunate because the 10 to 20 RF is another selling point for the Canon version. Not a good selling point for this if you're gonna be out in weather. Okay, so as you can see in this photo, there is a lot of vignetting in the corners. You've got it right here, you've got it over here. And then when it comes to flare, now it was cloudy and it was raining, but the sun was trying to peek through right here. And you can see it just doesn't get good contrast up there like you would see in a Canon type lens, especially the L series lenses. I was changing the aperture and tightening it, and yet there's still a lot of vignetting. So it does have decent contrast. You can tell it does struggle in the highlights right there. But yeah, this isn't even color corrected. So if I wanted to bring up the shadows, you know, I could do that. I could fix it up a little bit, bring down the highlights. So it isn't actually super bad. You can see it's still blowing out a little bit, but that could have been on me. And then we could up the contrast. You know, we took away a little bit of noise, so it's not bad at all. Do a little bit more with the sky. And so that was the original photo, and then just doing a quick edit. And that's what we made it look like. So it's not bad. I would say for photos, this isn't a bad lens to use, but for video, man, I would not use this lens. There's just way too much wobble. So what did you think of that major wobble? I mean, obviously you already know that's partially why I can't keep this lens is for that wobble, but as an architectural photographer, that shouldn't be a bother. I should be able to deal with that. So there are some other issues that I did not like with this, and I can't justify keeping this lens. And one is obvious, and I knew this when I bought it, but I have had prime lenses that are ultra wide, like a 14mm Rokinon or Samyang, which is fantastic. This 9mm is a one-trick pony. unfortunately. I don't think I'm gonna be at 9 or even the 10mm that often. To have that option would be great, but to have a lens dedicated to that 9 or 10mm on a full frame, it's just too much for me. I need something that gives me the versatility of being down to 9 or 10 and then up to about 12 to 15. And then if I have to, zoom in a little bit. And in the case of the 10 to 20 that's coming out with the RF mount, the 20mm. The other thing that I didn't think was gonna be a big deal, but it is a bigger deal than I thought, is the fact that it's not weather sealed. Now, in Wisconsin, we have snow, rain, cold, hot, I don't know, everything, moisture. And I was stuck in a lot of rain, especially today. You can see that shot of me and my 15 to 35 in the rain. It was downpouring, but guess what? That 15 to 35 RF L series lens by Canon, nothing leaked in. It was perfect. It was moisture free. It is a fantastic weather sealed lens. And that's what I need. And another reason why I'm looking at that 10 to 20mm, because it is weather sealed. The lack of electronic connection to this is an issue when you're working with cameras with in-body stabilization like the R6 Mark II, because the R6 Mark II does communicate electronically with other lenses, knowing the focal range and knowing how to adapt with the IBIS. Now, especially with EF or RF lenses that have image stabilization built into the lens, it would work perfect with the IBIS. I believe the 10 to 20 is 5 stops of image stabilization, and with the IBIS, it is 6 stops. So you do get that awesome image stabilization with it. And from what everybody is saying, they fixed the wobble, or there's very little, which is great for a guy like me who uses the Zhiyun Crane 2 for his gimbal, walking through a lot of properties. Now, I just said this isn't for me, but that doesn't mean it's not for you. Where this shines is definitely in photos. And if you're a new video and it's just gonna be there and on a tripod and no movement, you're probably gonna be fine. But if you're looking this wide for movement, I honestly would just get a GoPro, because you're gonna get smoother shots, and yes, you're gonna get noise, but the image quality out of the GoPro 12, which I am actually finishing up on the review on that one, so stay tuned if you haven't subscribed, because that'll be a good one too. I would do the GoPro 12 or even the 11 at that point, because you're gonna get that ultra wide and you can get it to rectilinear with some of the settings inside. So really, it is a one-trick pony. It's photos on a full frame. I need versatility, and most people do that do this professionally. Now, just like all my other reviews, it's my opinion. It's my thoughts. Don't judge me. I'm not very scientific. If you want scientific, then go to Dustin Abbott. He is amazing. Great YouTuber that gets really in there. And then when you're looking at lenses, Christopher Frost, that guy is amazing too. Those are the people that I highly recommend when you're getting into the details. Neither of them are professional, full-time working photographers or videographers. I am a full-time photographer, videographer. This is what I do for a living. I don't get into the nitty-gritty of all the details. I go into the practicality of everything. So if that is you, you just want the practicality, you're in the right place. Now, the Canon RF L Series 10 to 20 for the full frame is gonna be released shortly. I plan on putting that through the paces on the Canon R6 Mark II and then onto a crop body like the R7. I think that's gonna be a good dual comparison. Then I will be comparing it with my 15 to 35, and ultimately at the end of that mini series of comparison videos, I'm gonna decide if I'm gonna sell my 15 to 35 and keep the 10 to 20. I'm guessing I am, because I have that 24 to 72.8 RF, but there might be a possibility that the 10 to 20 just might be too wide. I'm not really getting into that realm. Where I think I'm probably gonna shoot a lot at is between 12 and 15mm on that lens, and that is my hope. But if I find that I'm always at that 14 to 15mm, well then for cheaper price, I'll just keep my 15 to 35 or go to a 14 to 35. I appreciate you guys stopping by. If you haven't already, please subscribe, like, and I will see you in the next video. Oh, and don't forget to check out these videos. I know some of you just like to binge them and watch them over and over again. It's just something you do, and I appreciate it.